Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one here, I wanted to talk about some big news that we actually do have, and that is regarding, I guess, the Walking Dead universe in general. More specifically with the ones who live, because that's sort of what they're talking about right now, but this actually is more just about the spin-offs in general, and that is that the spin-offs, are not just the spin-offs, but the Walking Dead just in general, all Walking Dead shows are going to be available in the UK, finally. That is something that everyone's been wanting for a long time now, and we finally actually have it happening now. Like, we actually have The Walking Dead finally going to be available in the UK, because whenever the shows have been coming out, even with like the last season of The Walking Dead, maybe even season 10, I know there was a point where when AMC Plus came out, it wasn't even available in Canada, but I think during season 11 it was available in Canada, and then I think, then people in the UK obviously wanted to watch The Walking Dead, but couldn't, and so this deal right here means that all shows are actually going to be available in the UK starting this month here. And so let's actually get into all this here. So before we go any further, obviously make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. First of all, this is really amazing news, but there was supposed to be a trailer for Daryl Dixon Season 2 coming out at some point, and I do think that means that could be this week. The rumor was last week, and I'm not sure why it didn't actually come out, but maybe it's this week, right? We'll have to wait and see, but whenever that does come out, obviously I will do a video breaking down that trailer and everything that, you know, is happening in that. So obviously, if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like that, then definitely make sure to be a subscriber. But let's actually get into this here. So I saw this here from Deadline. Actually, originally I saw it from Scott Gimple. He tweeted it this morning, but yeah, I'll leave a link down below to the article here from Deadline, and the article really gets into sort of the deal that was made here between Sky and AMC Networks that will obviously have the Walking Dead universe and all of its shows be available to everyone in the UK that obviously has television and whatnot, right? So the first thing here is that the Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, that's going to be available on May 31st. So that's going to be, I believe, it's not the first show coming out, because all 11 seasons of The Walking Dead are coming out on May 19th. And then The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon and The Walking Dead Dead City are eventually going to be on there at some point later on this year. But this is really, really big just because obviously this is something that people have been wanting for a while. And so now you can actually watch all 11 seasons of The Walking Dead, as well as The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, all starting this month. And then at some point, Daryl Dixon and Dead City will probably join later on. And I'm assuming it's going to be in the next month or two. Again, that's just sort of my prediction. But just because a fan actually asked Scott Gimple, like, does this include Daryl Dixon Season 2? And he said yes. So I'm assuming that by the time Daryl Dixon Season 2 actually airs, that it's going to be airing in the UK as well. So I'm assuming that, you know, the show's probably going to come out late September, early October. And again, I have my reasonings for that just because of, you know, AMC announcing that, you know, Snowpiercer is going to be airing this summer, and it's during The Walking Dead's usual time slot on Sundays at 9 p.m. Eastern. There's 10 episodes of that show. It's going from July 21st up until September 22nd. I'm assuming anyways, unless they take a break, you know, they air a couple of episodes and then take a break, but I doubt it just because it's only 10 episodes. And before that, starting yesterday, is Interview with the Vampire, right? And that's going to be going straight until there's 8 episodes, and I think it's going straight until June 30th, I believe. So there's only like 2 weeks in there, but who knows? Like, they could move some stuff around. I see a lot of people thinking that, you know, it's still going to be coming out this summer, so we'll have to wait and see. But I do think by the time Daryl Dixon actually comes out, like season 2, that it's going to be available in the UK. So this is going to be, you know, really big for Walking Dead fans, because for the last like year, like the Walking Dead final season, I will say, was kind of affected by it a little bit, but not really. It was more the spin-offs, if anything, with Dead City, Daryl Dixon, and The Ones Who Live, season 1 for all of those shows. Because all of those shows just aired over here. They never aired in the UK, and a lot of people have been wanting to watch it, right? And so now everyone's going to have the chance to actually watch this, which is definitely a very big deal. And it just means that more people are going to be watching The Walking Dead on Walking Dead Sundays, right? So that's just amazing, because everyone used to, you know, watch it all the time. It was a big worldwide event, and it feels like over the last year, it definitely really hasn't been as much anyways. So this is definitely, like, when I say it's big news, it really is, like, it's big news, right? So yeah, very amazing. I know a lot of people have been wanting this for a very long time here, but there's also one interesting aspect to this here too that I found very, very interesting, and I wanted to talk about, and this is later on in the article here. And yeah, I'll quote this here from the article. This is from the Executive Vice President of Distribution and Content Sales for AMC Network, Mike Pears. He says, as we enter an exciting new chapter in the evolution of this franchise, with 3 new eagerly awaited character-driven series, Sky is the perfect premium home for UK viewers to embrace all things Walking Dead. The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live is the most successful series in the history of AMC+, even including the original series. So it is fitting that it will lead the way as Sky brings this entire universe to UK fans in the coming weeks and months on Sky and Now. Really, really, honestly, like this is, first of all, in terms of that, I'm very, very happy for everyone in the UK that's, going to be able to watch this. But I will say, in terms of what they actually said on here regarding The Ones Who Live, first of all, they're talking about it like it's a series. And I mean, I guess it is a series, even if it's a limited series. But, there's a lot of talk about season 2. And I know some people believe that it's not going to happen, but you just kind of have to look at it as the possibility is there. And look at what they just said. They said that The Ones Who Live is the most successful series in the history of AMC Plus, and that's including the original series. Now, I think it's including the last couple of seasons of The Walking Dead, and eventually when all of the show actually goes to AMC Plus, I mean, I'm sure it's still going to have way better ratings and all of that, right? Because the original Walking Dead series wasn't airing here. But the numbers obviously have been really amazing. And we heard earlier on that the numbers for the show are matching numbers from 6 years ago or whatever. So around the point of season 8, which was very high. Like, honestly, it was starting to drop off, obviously, from like the crazy numbers of like 17 million. I think it was around like 8 million or something like that. But still, like that's still a very, very high number, like a very, very high number, very, very successful. And I just think that when you kind of look at that, you're like, yeah, so The Ones Who Live was very, very successful. I think that AMC is going to want to do a season 2. And if you've really noticed all the talk about, a season 2 of The Ones Who Live, AMC and everyone else, they're not saying no. Like, none of them are saying no. There's like no denial of like, no, it's not happening or anything like that. All anyone is saying is like, yeah, so you enjoyed the series, really cool. Is there going to be a season 2? Yeah, I'm not going to really talk about that, but I'm definitely very open to it, and it would be really cool, this and that. And like Andrew Lincoln was saying, he's very open to ideas, this and that. Like, it seems like, to me, what this really seems like is it's one of those things where it's almost like a power play in that sense. Like Andrew Lincoln and Danai Gurira, they have all of this power in like making the decisions of this story and choosing when to come back, right? And I feel like it's a business thing. It really is. Like they could just come back and do a season 2 for sure. Like they can just do it if they want, but I think they want to make sure the story's right. They want to do other things in their lives as well. But like they're going to come back. They will come back and do something else. It's just a matter of when, right? And it's really cool to actually see, the story in this place here. Gimple wants to do more. He already knows where the story's going to go. I always think about what Danai Gurira actually said, when she was talking about it, like hypothetically anyways, where Rick and Michonne would be, if there was a season 2 or whatever. And she said that, obviously they would have to like focus on their family lives and all that, because that's something that's obviously very important to them. But they do need to help others, and they have, these new resources with the CRM and all that, the ability to actually help people. So they are going to do that, right? Like they would have to focus on that as well. Like they would feel obligated to do that, which is like, okay, so you've already thought about this a little bit. You already thought about where their story would go next, right? So I think it is one of those things where AMC is probably like, yes, let's do a season 2. Like we definitely need to do a season 2. I think that Gimple knows where the story is going to go. He's even said that he has ideas. He knows whatever, there's no official plans or anything, but he has the next story written. And I can't remember exactly what he said. It was something like that. But yeah, I think it really just comes down to Andrew Lincoln and Danai Gurira, and it seems like they're very, very open to it, but I think they want to wait for the time to be right and for the story to be right, for it to be very, very exciting. Based off of the last couple of years here in terms of promoting The Ones Who Live, it really is going to come out of nowhere. They're going to announce it at like a Comic-Con. It's going to be a big surprise where they're there and they just kind of show up and there's an announcement that they're coming back to do, this next story here. And I think, they want to see where the fan base is going to be after watching Daryl Dixon in Dead City and just sort of where that goes and whatnot. So that's why I think it's going to be a couple of years, right? Obviously, we'll get an announcement before the show comes out, but there's going to be a lot of hype again. So will there be an announcement at this Comic-Con? I don't know about that. I think there's a possibility, but like, again, it's so hard to say because like, I don't know where things are at, but say there's no announcement at all this year of anything. Next year, like July of 2025, I could see there being some sort of announcement of like, all right, we're doing a season 2 or whatever. Right. So it's been like a year and a half or whatever since then. Depending on where Daryl Dixon season 2 and 3 go, Dead City season 2, the story could sort of build up enough where that announcement just makes sense. And then they're just sort of writing it and they're in that process for a bit. maybe they film early 2026 and then the show comes out early 2027. I can see sort of that being what happens, because that would sort of be the same as what happened with The Ones Who Live, right? Although, like, I'm talking about from the point where they actually announced the show, because obviously they announced the movies beforehand, but that took a couple of years and there was like no news on the movies for like years, right? So definitely a very different situation. But yeah, I look at this as like, I think that the possibility here of a season 2 is very, very high. It's just a matter of when right now. And, you know, the fact that The Ones Who Live is just as successful as it is for AMC Plus is just amazing. And I think a lot of people are just going to want to see more Rick and Michonne. And I just think that it's going to happen. It will definitely happen. So anyways, I'm going to leave it here. Definitely post all your thoughts down below. Really amazing news. Honestly, I'm very, very happy to hear that the Walking Dead universe and all of its shows are finally going to be in the UK. So I'm assuming with Daryl Dixon season 2, when that show actually airs, we're going to all be watching at the same time. And it's not going to be people in the UK trying to avoid spoilers constantly, because I see those comments a lot. So many people are like, oh, I'm trying to avoid spoilers for this. And it's just, obviously, it's kind of hard to do. And honestly, the last like year and a half, or a little bit more or whatever, of people in the UK not being able to watch The Walking Dead and being a big fan of The Walking Dead, but just, you know, it's definitely very unfortunate. But yeah, really good news here. So post all your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.